Hello, everybody. Oh wow, that's me breaking levels. Whoops, my apologies. That's Anime Reflux. I apologize. I'm a little overexcited because holy shit, this show was good.
Oh yes, we've been pleasantly surprised before, but this was just. I mean, we knew it was a comedy show going into it, but we were expecting something of a more documentary-ish sort, or at least I was. No, this is another gag anime that it's like Love Lab, but it's just so much better with
Yeah,
the setting.
yeah. The impression the summary gave was that it's going to be a lot of references to Japanese things that we're just not going to get. There's some of that, but for the most part, the translators actually used some interesting and worthwhile translation conventions to actually make things pass pretty well, even in English. But yeah, this was not at all what I was expecting. It felt like a Monty Python skit from the Japanese kind of school of comedy, which, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Uh-huh. The opening deceives us for what the show is going to be like. We just get a standard sketch that's not bad. Just one of the five girls that star in this show sitting on the stage talking about a comedy where uh, there's this. It's basically the setup is a village fool or something comes up to an old woman's house, knocks on their door,
Yeah,
and
it's.
yeah,
I'm going to skip it
yeah.
because this was actually kind of one of the stage segments are like the worst part of the show because I think they're meant to be kind of bad by comparison. Like the framing device is their like the Japanese equivalent of a one man show. You know, you get someone on stage and they talk for a while, tell some funny or amusing anecdotes. Hopefully, they're amusing, and then they thank the audience and they leave. That's it. And yeah, this is kind of not interesting. And then we go
That
backstage.
yeah, girl that was on stage goes backstage, sits down around a table with four other girls who are all looking at each other just with neutral expressions. Girl who just stepped off the stage looks around quietly for a minute and then breathes in and says, "You should just read this manga as is. Why would anyone want to make an anime adaptation?"
All we do is just sit around and talk. Why would they need to animate this? And then they do a
And then
massive
they,
fucking Sakuga thing where just one of the girls
yeah,
just
overly
hyper
animated.
animated and really exaggerated movements, but it's really fluid and well animated. They worked hard on this. We should appreciate it.
Even though there's so little anime. In the event that we can animate. uh, yeah, they just go on with a complete disregard for the fourth wall at first. And after a bit of discussion, it's like them being backstage before the show starts and just discussing it. Then we have a cut in with Japanese text being written across the screen, and it says, "This anime is full of ordinary dialogue so that viewers can fully enjoy how cute the girls are." Then normal dialogue flashes on the screen, and we cut back to the girls.
So, what's normal dialogue supposed to be?
Don't ask stupid questions.
Oh,
And so just
they
they
discuss
just go
for a
on.
good 5 minutes what normal is supposed to be, and somehow that transitions into like when you get invited to a party and they say dress casually, and they're like, what does casual mean? Well, casual probably means what you wear most of the time. Well, wouldn't that be like work clothes? So it's kind of like inviting you to a cosplay party. Oh, that'd be cool if it's a cosplay party. No, that doesn't make any sense because work isn't casual. Okay, well, what else do you? Well, if aside from work, what you wear most of the time is your sleepwear because you sleep most of the time. Ah, I see. Oh God, I love this show so much. It's so stupid and great. Um, So then they get into a discussion about sleepwear and how, the pajamas, and then one of them rats out the redhead and says, "Hey, you totally don't wear pajamas, you lie, you sleep in the nude." I heard that once, and they flash back to her saying, "I sleep in the nude." So they decide to strip her so she can be dressed casually and to, entertain the anime viewers. Because that's how they get appeal and why they exist as an anime.
So saying dress casually is actually an invitation to a nude party? That's so dirty for the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just have her posing in front of a...
Behind a banner, yeah. With text on it, but I didn't have a chance to read the text because it's in Japanese, and that would have been... problem. But they keep pulling up the banner a little bit because it's like pages on it, and they pull it up a little bit and it's like, oh wow, this looks really dirty when I do it like this. It's like I'm about to reveal her. They just do that over and over.
And so what they do is they flip up the sign, and each time it's a different name of one of the girls. So, no, now it looks like I'm naked, flip it up. Now it looks like I'm naked, flip it up to the next name.
Oh wow, we just introduced all of the characters in a really natural way. Go us!
Wow. Yay! Let's just call attention to it right now.
Now what's this bear? Let's see what's next. Heipo? What? He's not in this show. Next, Stand Up Japan. That's not a name. Picture of Japan. That's not even right. What a lovely day. This morning I've seen dandelions blooming beside Too long. We did it. Who did? Tokyo Metropolitan Ordinance regarding the healthy development of youths. That has nothing to do with us.
This is totally a Monty Python sketch. That's what this
Yes.
is.
Yes, it is.
And then hidden body features. They're not hidden. The end. It's not over yet. Scene cuts to black. And scene transition downtown.
Yeah, outside of the theater, where I presume they work. Or perform, rather. Yeah, so they all, one by one, start showing up in presumably what they have decided is casual wear, I guess.
First one looks like...
Go ahead.
First one looks like a schoolgirl uniform. Second one... I mean, the first two both look pretty casual. Then the second girl shares some music that she's listening to with the other girl, and
it's the cutesy blonde one, and it's like fucking Rob Zombie, fucking Nine Inch Nails death metal. And it's like, oh, that's surprising. Okay.
And then up comes the... That's not the stoic one, but no, she's stoic. Just one of two stoic ones. And she's just in a Lolita dress.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the term for it?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other two mention that maybe she's trying too hard, and they talk about other kinds of styles of wearing that kind of outfit, like pink and extra fluffy for like what was it, Dosololi, where it's like just a fat person in Lolita dress, and then like a dozen others, many of which I believe are fake and are just jokes, though it's hard to tell. Because at some point she just starts saying a bunch of words that end in lolly. Because, yeah. Then the fourth one shows up in a tracksuit which was something they made fun of it for earlier in the episode when they were talking about casual wear. And then they head into the theater, and they're like, did we forget something?
We get a bit of insight into the nature of Rakugo, basically. Or is it just this particular?
I have no idea. Like, if there's anything in the show that's like stuff we probably wouldn't get, it's probably this. But yeah.
So then we have them sitting in the audience, and apparently it's hot. So one of the girls gives the girl who's complaining that it's hot a fan, and the other one gives her a tissue.
Oh god, the tissue thing.
And then the puns begin.
Oh my god.
I get why a fan is a fan, but why is a tissue a tissue? But that's not a difficult tissue. Life is so full of persistent tissues. And then
this girl's got tissues. Yeah. That,
as the fourth one comes up.
Yeah. That whole... I was really impressed by that, because that is a whole bunch of puns that the translator had to come up with, because there was no way that was going to fit in with the Japanese version.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Yeah.
Having jokes come across in translation, or having jokes that fit in translation, that is hard to do. I mean, I don't have any personal experience with it, but I've got secondhand experience with it with our translation team translating the spites. But there are just so many things that don't translate into other languages. First of which being the title.
Yeah.
So,
like, idioms are one thing, like just casual turns of phrase that you just kind of take for granted in English just don't exist in other languages, and vice versa. But a puns are like the next level kind of thing for trying to convey the language, playing with the language. It just doesn't work the same way. So that was incredibly impressive on the part of the translators.
very.
Again, I don't know whether I said this during the recording or if it was before, but I don't know whether this was a legitimate licensed sub or if it was a fan sub, because it uses an unusual font for... Like, they don't like to do the fun, quote-unquote, fonts for subtitling. They rather use the Arials or a sans serif or something like that, because they want it to be easy to read. But
and as I said when you said that, if that is the case, well, whether that's the case or not, this is a severely underappreciated show.
Oh yeah. So then
I think
they
my
have...
favorite...
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think my favorite gag in the show is when they're all in their casual clothes. And then it's like, oh, hey, what are you listening to? And she pulls out the earbud, and it's death metal.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
I just wanted to bring that up because we're talking about this show, and I'm just like, you know what? I need to give that joke a little bit more appreciation. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay. I think Zero's having some mic and audio troubles or something.
I am a little bit. Yeah, sorry.
Both ways is what I mean. So, yeah, then we have a brief stage performance again, which is the blonde one doing some cat sounds for some reason. I don't get these bits. They're not very good. But probably intentionally so. And then we're backstage again, and they're talking about which are better, dogs or cats.
Well, first the scene comes up, and this scene is called Shouting Instruction. So then we start with cat or dogs, and don't ask stupid questions for the first time, basically a running gag. And for the second time, we have the notice come up and say, "This anime is full of ordinary dialogue so that viewers can fully enjoy how cute the girls are."
In fairness, they're very cute. They are quite adorable.
Agreed. So then we cut back to them, and the topic changes immediately from dogs and cats to tea or coffee. Don't ask stupid questions. And then it just keeps going on. Would you prefer a cold bath or a hot bath? And she tries to ask, if I'm interpreting this translation right, the redhead one then tries to ask whether you prefer Pepsi or Coke. Hard to say, me personally.
I mean, they have both. That's still a thing in Japan.
Yeah. But before she can finish that question, she's cut off. Dogs or cats, back to where we had, and Redhead keeps trying to interrupt.
Yeah, and then they come down to which sounds are better, dogs or cats, and they're like, I forget how that whole thing went. It just kind of flew through me, and it was enjoyable, but woo.
Dogs are in the Zodiac, and they work for the police as well. But dogs are looked down on. What about the phrase dog of authority? But you can also say arch like a cat, cat burglar, caterwaul, purr like a cat. And it's usually cats that turn into monsters. Dogs don't do that. They must have regrets or something. There are many famous dog characters, and the pixelated but still obvious silhouette of Snoopy in the background.
God, this show is... I need to watch more of this.
Great.
Yeah. So, then for
And
some
we cut
reason,
to,
the one with glasses, who is my favorite because she wears glasses, is plucking on a... I don't know what that instrument is called, but it's the traditional Japanese guitar-like instrument, or sitar-like instrument, I suppose is closer.
Shamisen.
Thank you. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. And then the conversation changes to, would you prefer the beach or the mountain? And the depressed one translate there.
You're skipping.
Am I?
You're skipping over the kanji for dog.
Oh God! Oh
yeah. Oh, it's like a person.
Oh no! Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, they talk about how hard it is to write the kanji for dog. How I think it was the depressed one is like, oh, I can never remember and I get anxiety when I'm supposed to put the last stroke for dog. And then she pulls out a placard that's got like 12 different characters, and which one of these is the right one? And it freaks the redhead out so much, and she's like, draw it, now. And she's like, just panicking, just sort of, I got it. You hesitated. And then they're like, I like this because the dog is like right next to the person. That's how you know what it is. And then, but like, you could put the dog anyway. You could put it here. Yeah, but it's still just one dog, though. It must be lonely. And then there's like 1,000 of the little marks for dog just all over the kanji that the redhead's looking at, and she freaks out.
I just attacked by wild dogs. Ah!
And then it attacks the person shape of the kanji, and it's just like... It's kind of uncomfortably like that the dog marks are eating the person kanji, and I can understand why she's kind of freaked out. It took a turn, that conversation. People need to watch this show. This has to be experienced. I feel like we're not selling it well enough because you just talking about it doesn't do it anything close to justice.
No, it doesn't. No, not in the least.
Oh god.
And then we have the mountain and the sea thing,
Yeah.
which is the...
Which would you prefer? And then the goth one makes it, oh, where would you prefer to die? And the blonde cutesy one is like, oh, I think I would prefer to die on the mountain because then I would freeze and then I would just stay there for hundreds of years and then they would discover me and they would look at me and look at, oh, how beautiful she was. Let's not talk about things that are far off in the future. And then they discuss what you're supposed to shout at the ocean.
Up in the mountains, you shout "Yoo-hoo," which I guess, and then at the sea, you shout "You fool." There's something lost in translation there, but it's still pretty humorous.
I don't know whether there is anything lost in translation there because the words are very different. It's almost like it's supposed to be a pun, or it seems that way because of the English words. You-hoo and you fool sound very similar, but they were actually shouting you-hoo and then the words for you fool, which sound very different. So I don't think that was a pun originally, but I don't know.
And then we get into some sort of weird mathematics.
You'd have to remind me. That's...
You would shout something different towards the Sea of Japan than you would to the Pacific. There's no one to shout to across the Pacific.
Oh,
Hawaii
God, yeah.
And the average you fool travels at 340 miles per second.
Yeah, so I guess maybe we should shorten it to fool. Would fool be faster if it was just fool instead of you fool? I don't know, maybe. Okay, so what would you shout at the Sea of Japan? You probably wouldn't shout you fool. What else would you shout?
It's not particularly meaningful, but at least you fool covers quite a wide angle, but it has no style and won't solve anything.
It's just a map with just a vector of where this particular shout would hit. And then for some reason, a slightly different shout or something would reach a wider angle. It was really weird, and it just completely flew over my head. But I didn't care because it was amusing. Just the incredible logic train. It's like, once again, it's like listening to the fucking knights at the castle of whatever it was called discussing the proper unladen flight speed of an African or European swallow. That's the kind of discussion this was.
Yeah, pretty much. And what they've come up with in the end, give it back, which can cover pretty much every angle, and you just see the vector covering all of Japan, and they just shout, give it back to the north, give back our land to the northwest, give back our people to the west, give back our technology to the southwest, give back our submarine resources, give back our money to Tokyo, I think.
Yeah, it was Tokyo.
And then we have that's the end of the episode. We have them in chibi form dancing over the credits. And just...
credit song was great. I loved it so much. The fucking rap.
Yeah. And so we don't really know what's going to happen in the next episode. The preview doesn't give very much away, but
I mean, it's
quite
Seinfeld.
frankly, I'm
Nothing
still
happens. That's the point of the show. Nothing happens. They just have kind of meaningless conversations about bullshit and go in weird depth with all of it, even if it makes no sense. I love it so much. This might be, at the very worst, this is top 3 of the shows that we've done on this show.
Very much agreed. Very much agreed. This is only the second show I've seen since we started doing this that makes me want to binge the rest of it. First of which was Pet Shop of Horrors. I mean, we've come across really good, really comedic shows before. This one, I think it takes the cake.
Anything to add, Zero? I know you're having trouble.
I like this show. I want to watch more of it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare to see a comedy that uses so many puns and kanji and such, where most of them seem to land. Especially because, lost in translation stuff usually happens.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to the translators, and I still love that opening gag with the why is this an anime? just why? Go read the manga. This is just people sitting in a room and talking. It's a 4 coma.
Why did they make it an anime? For that fucking dog kanji scene. That was why they made it an anime. That was amazing.
that will haunt my nightmare. Anyway, go watch this show. That's what I recommend.
Yes.
Joshiraku, by the way, is what it's called. Joshiraku. That's how much I want you to fucking watch this show, because I'm spelling it out so you know exactly what it is. It's really good.
Yeah, he never does that. He usually bitches about how things are spelled.
He doesn't. He normally doesn't even remember the name of the show right after we've just finished the episode. I'm sorry. But we'll remember this one because it's definitely worth remembering.
All right, but you know what this means, right?
Well, if you're about to say that we might not be getting another good one,
yeah, I'm back. So your luck's about to run out.
Well, we'll find out about that. I mean, we've hit a stride 2 good shows in a row before, never more than that. But last week's show was definitely not worth bringing back. It wasn't.
It wasn't a show.
Yeah. All right. So take it over, Kenshi.
All right, let's crush all your hopes and dreams in one fell swoop.
Let's not.
6.
That's F. Okay.
F isn't a fun one.
We've had a few in this category, but not enough to justify omitting the ones we've done in that count. So, 39.
All right, then. And out of that, we get 18.
And number 18. The winner this week is called Fractale. Fractale. So.
Okay. It's a story about geometry, I guess. Okay. The story takes place on an island where a fractale system is beginning to collapse. One day, Crane finds an injured girl called Frine? I want to say it's called Frine. Under a cliff. She disappears, leaving a pendant. Crane sets out for a journey with the girl-shaped avatar Nessa to look for Frine and discovers the secret of the That told me absolutely fucking nothing.
It did.
Okay, let me read this. The story takes place on an island resembling a 22nd century Ireland in a world ruled by Fractale, a satellite-based virtual reality and content delivery system which ensures mankind's stability and prosperity. One day, Klain meets a fleeting girl named Frine who disappears during the night, leaving a pendant. When he's able to activate the pendant, which turns into a doppel named Nessa, Klain sets out on a journey with the girl-shaped avatar Nessa to look for Frine and discover the secret behind the fractal.
Interesting.
That was like 2 more sentences than what Casey said.
But it had a little bit more information.
All right. Right, it's an 11-episode series
Which is odd.
based off
Usually
of a
they're
manga
more.
that had 3 volumes.
The comments say, one says it's a cute, touching series, and then the rest are just more and more people saying tumbleweed because no one's talking about this show.
I was wrong in what I just said. It's an 11-episode anime, and a manga adaptation was made off of the anime, so it seems.
They're 22 minutes long to do it.
Okay, so
Well,
this
it
one,
does-
according to the first episode comments, this one gets a little trippy.
Sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
This one will get a little trippy, according to the first episode comments.
Well, that's intriguing. Let's hope that it's the good kind, or at least the interesting kind. Well, once again, we've been pleasantly surprised, as we very much were this week. It doesn't seem bad, so let's see what.
At the
let's see
same
what
time,
Fractal.
it's it's got a tough act to follow. Is what happened here?
Wait a minute. It's October, and I still have my veto.
You do?
Did they roll over?
No.
God.
Well, Kenji, it's your choice.
I mean, I'm not vetoing this. There's no reason to.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
think
just-
so either.
I don't want to use my veto too early in the year. I'm going to keep it. 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 I'm not going to use it on these terrible shows that are forced to everyone to watch because I want to keep my veto. I'm going to keep my veto.
Yeah.
I still have my veto.
So do I. Casey's the only one who's used it.
I
And
used it
used-
well, thank you very much.
I
Yeah,
don't remember what you used it on.
Maria the Virgin Witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. You're welcome. Like, all of you are welcome for me doing that. Jeez.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. But seriously, watch Joshiraku.
Yes, watch it. I was literally about to say it before you did, but yes, watch it. Joshiraku is really, really good. You like, wow.
Words, dude. Use them.
I can't use words as well as this show did, so I feel like I shouldn't even bother. That is how good this show was. So, yeah, go watch it.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So, we'll be back next week with Fractal, which I don't think any of us are expecting it to be as good as this week, even
Okay,
if it's a
I'm
good
just going to say
show.
it again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.